Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the senior taster of Whisky.com, and today we have the Bushmills Black Bush here on my cask. 30% ABV and 1 liter bottle, so it's a big one, and only 24 euros and 99 cents here in Central Europe. If you live in other countries, then it might be a little bit more expensive due to higher alcohol taxes. The first time I tasted this whiskey in front of the camera in German language 13 years ago, and the second time together with my son 7 years ago. And today, well, I do it again after 7 years. Well, you forget a little bit about that. And this whiskey is a blended whiskey, and the Irish whiskey regulations say that it has to be produced from 2 different distillates to call it a blend. And Bushmills has a lot of small pot stills, I think 7 or 8. And from there you get this single malt whiskey. And they have as well column stills where they produce grain whiskey from unmalted cereals. And those two together result in this blended whiskey from Bushmills. And it contains 75%, so it's said, malt whiskey and only 25% grain whiskey. And this is, well, a specialty that you have a malt whiskey with a little bit of grain in it, and not typically a lot of grain whiskey with a little bit of malt whiskey in it. And again, something special, this whiskey has a lot of maturation received from ex-Oloroso sherry casks. So a lot of these wine aromas, these fruitiness, this darkness comes from those ex-sherry casks. So this is a very special whiskey. You have on one hand side the grain whiskey, highly distilled on column stills, and then triple distilled malt whiskey as well, highly distilled, and those two blended together and matured in ex-bourbon casks and ex-Oloroso casks, of course, used multiple times, so refill as well. Yeah, the amount of Black Bush produced is big. It's a really huge number of bottles leaving the distillery. And so I think it's 3 years and a day old. Otherwise, they would be wasting money. And that won't be the case, I think. Yeah. A liter bottle for 25 euros is not that bad. You receive a lot of it. Depends if you like the aroma or not, if it's a bargain for you or not. It comes in this typical quadratic cross-section shaped bottle. And heavy, as I said, 1 liter. No card box with this one. They tried to keep the cost of the bottle low. Yeah, definitely Oloroso sherry cask, definitely fruitiness in it. Maltiness, smells like a single malt whiskey, 75%. Well, this will lead in a strong maltiness. In the background, a little bit of nuts, of nuttiness, and this is the typical smell of fresh sherry casks. Yeah, cheers. In the start, a little oily, a little juicy on the tongue, and then the spiciness kicks in, first from the Oloroso cask, and secondly from well, those grain casks. And the grain whiskey, if you take it from a huge stock, then you typically get casks 3 years and a day old. and used 9 or 10 times. So a lot of these vanilla notes are already extracted from those ex-bourbon casks, and those refill casks, the older they become, the more of tannins and spiciness they deliver, even slightly bitterness. Together with this light oiliness of the grain whiskey leads to a very special character, which is on one side a little oily and smooth, and on the other hand it's spicy with a little bitterness in the aftertaste. Yeah, and the malt is still present. So this is one of the very, very few whiskies which are completely untypical produced. Triple distillation in pot stills, combined with column stills, combined with different casks, combined with those sherry notes. So this is a very special whiskey, which is, well, quite popular in the Irish whiskey community. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. There's more to come.